Hello everyone, my name is Mr. M. Today we're going to learn how to factor quadratic trinomials by crisscross method. So go ahead and complete the intro activity first. Be sure to pause your video while you're doing it. Come back once you're done so that you can check your answer. So the greatest common monomial factor of this trinomial is 3a. I hope you got that right. Now let's have the parts of quadratic trinomial. So I have r squared plus 16r plus 64. So what do we call this r squared? This is what you call quadratic term. Positive 16r is the linear term, and this positive 64 is the constant term. Now for this topic, instead of using quadratic term, I'm going to call it leading term. This is the middle term. Obviously it's in the middle. This is leading, middle, and this must be last term. So you're going to hear me using these terminologies. Now let's have keyword, factoring. It's a process of finding factors of an expression. In layman's term, what we're going to do is to break down. So factoring is breaking down. Now these are the steps in doing crisscross method. We're going to apply these steps to our model problem. Now let's go over with the model problem. It says factor r squared plus 16r plus 64. Right? First step, it says factor the leading term. If you break down r squared, it's r times r, right? Because r, let's reverse it, r times r is r squared. Second step, factor the last term. The last term is positive 64. What are the factors of 64? Positive 8 times positive 8. Now notice how I wrote the factors. I aligned them and one factor under the other. Now step 3, cross multiply. That's where your crisscross comes in. So you see these purple factors? We are going to multiply them. R times positive 8. And the result is positive 8r. And the orange, r times 8 or positive 8, that's positive 8r. You see the crisscross? There you go. Now step 4, we're almost there. Add them up. If we add this up, the result is positive 16r. It says add the product, so to get the middle term. You need to get the middle term here, so that means your work is correct. If you don't, there's something wrong on your work. Alright? The middle term here is positive 16r. So that means our work is correct. Clear? Now it says step 5. Write the factors. Where are the factors? Our first factor is actually across. You see the purple r and the orange 8? That is our first factor. And the second factor, the orange r and purple 8. That's the second factor. So how do we write them? First factor is r plus 8. The second factor is r plus 8 also. Right? Or what you could do, since these two factors are the same, you can merge them together. And how do you do that? It's the square of r plus 8. If you're multiplying, let's say x times x, same number, right? Same variable, so you can write down x squared inside of parentheses. So r plus 8 times r plus 8, the square of binomial r plus 8. Now let's have another model problem. It says factor q to the second minus 5q plus 6. This time the middle term is a negative number, right? So step 1, factor the leading term. Q to the second, the factors are q and q. Factor the last term, positive 6. The factors are negative 3 and negative 2. Right? 2 negatives means positive. Step 3, Crisscross. Q times negative 2, that's negative 2q. Q times negative 3, that's negative 3q. Right? Now what's next? Step 4, you add this up. What's the result? Negative 2q plus negative 3q, it's negative 5q, which happens to be the middle term. So the first factor is q minus 3, and the second factor is q minus 2. How do you write them? Inside the parentheses, q minus 3 times q minus 2. Can we combine them? Nope. They are two different binomials. So you leave your answer like that. Now let's have the third model problem. This question was given in the previous video. Alright? So it says factor the trinomial completely. 75a to the third plus 30a squared plus 3a. Remember in the intro activity, our GCMF is 3a. So what do we do with that? What we just simply do is set up two parentheses. Alright? We need to divide each of these terms by 3a, which is the GCMF. So 75a to the third. You know what? Let's do it one part at a time. 75a to the third divided by 3a. 75 divided by 3, it's 25. We subtract the exponent. So 3 minus 1, that's 2, so it's a squared. Plus 30 divided by 3, that's 10. A to the second divided by a, again we subtract the exponent, that's a to the first. And 3a, positive 3a divided by 3a, and positive 3a divided by positive 3a, they divide out. And that's equal to 1. Now, and we put them inside the parentheses, right? And what do we put here? The GCMF. But we're not finished yet. This is still factorable. Now let's continue. So I'm going to grab this trinomial, 25a to the second plus 10a plus 1. And I'm going to factor this using the crisscross method. Again, step 1, factor or break down the first or the leading term. 25a squared, that is 5a times 5a. Right? And positive 1, that's positive 1 times positive 1. Then, step 3, we do the crisscross, 5a times positive 1. That's positive 5a, positive 5a times positive 1 is positive 5a also. And step 4, you add this up. The result is positive 10a, which happens to be the middle term right there. What does it mean? Our work is correct. So what is the first factor? It's this, 5a plus 1, and the second factor is 5a plus 1. And we're going to write them down here. So 5a plus 1 times the parentheses 5a plus 1 also. Are we finished? No, not yet. Remember, this problem is from this one, right? So what we need to do is to include the GCMF here, right there. So it's 3a. So you have now 3 factors. Or what you could do is to put these binomials together. So it's the square of binomial 5a plus 1. Then bring this down, 3a. You can leave your answer either way. Now it's your turn to practice. Go ahead and complete these 2 problems. Be sure to pause your video while you're doing it. Come back once you're done so that you can check your answers. And there you have it. I hope you got them both correct. Alright, let's try another set of problems. Pause your video, come back once you're done. Welcome back. I hope you got them both correct. Thank you for watching and learning with me. Be sure to click the links below inside the description box for additional resources so that you can practice and learn more. Please take care of yourself and each other.